Pines to McDill and got on that Selman. It was
Yeah.
like over Gandy.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that was easy. But Dale Mabry kind of still stunk.
Oh, yeah.
Hadn't been down there in years. Gandy's so different. But that Crab Shack's still there. We used to go there when the kids were a year old, 30 years ago. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
When we moved up here, we lived down on 9th Street.
Yeah, I remember those times.
Hi, Linda. 1 minute to go, sorry.
Actually, 10 seconds.
Of course you would correct me.
Did you cheat sheet?
Good evening, everyone. I call the March 14th Planning Board meeting to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hallelujah. Thank you very much. Bunch of proud Americans. Okay. I now will open the forum to any citizen wish to speak to any item not on the agenda. You can speak for your 5-minute allotment or as long as you like. Anyone wish to speak? See none. I close the citizen open forum. Is there anyone going to speak on the public hearing item tonight? Please raise and swear in.
Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, I seek a motion for approval of the minutes of January 8th, 2025.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes, everybody to none. Thank you very much. We will now, item 2, consider the excused absence on January 8th from Mr. Ross Roundhouse. Agenda item packet 6. Oh, looks good. I entertain a motion to excuse Ross for being missing.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Well, did anybody make a first?
I make a motion that we accept Ross Roundhouse.
Okay, thank you. Entertain the second.
Second.
Second, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, none, no one's opposed. Motion passes. Ross, you're excused. Welcome back. Team position, item 3, evidently Krishna has not shown up, so I guess we're not going to discuss the team position. What happens when that happens? It's like an agenda item that doesn't get moved. So
Well, it was just an introduction, and the council will be approving the applicant, so the board doesn't need to do anything since he's not.
so the board acknowledges that we were going to talk to finally a teen showing up, which we've been kind of hoping for. Okay, item 4, City of Oldsmar concurrency report. This is a public hearing. Please enter and sign in, please. The staff presentation is for you.
Good evening, Board. Yes, Matt Jackson, Planning Manager for the City of Oldsmar. I'd like to introduce tonight's speaker. We have a special guest speaker, Michelle Wilson, here with the Planning and Redevelopment Department. She's a temporary employee who was brought on mainly to assist with the permitting post-lien. She's taken on quite a bit of work, caught on very quickly, assimilated with staff, and is doing just a wonderful job here at the city. We're very glad she joined us. She's also a graduate of SPC with a bachelor's in public policy and administration. So as time permits, she's also helping out with other items, especially planning items. She assisted with putting together the report, and I asked her if she would like to present, which is just good practice to get up in front of people for public speaking. but also does help with her resume. So very happy Michelle is here to present tonight.
Welcome.
Hi, good evening. So, concurrency ensures public facilities and services are available when new development occurs, preventing degradation of service levels. Each year, the Planning and Redevelopment submits a concurrency test statement to the city manager as required by the Land Development Code. After Planning Board reviews, it goes to City Council for adoption. The statement assesses the impact of approved developments on city services and remaining capacities, including transportation, water, sewer, solid waste, parks, and drainage. Approved in 2024 and completed in 2025, this project developed a 0.25 acre site at 3502 Tampa Road with a 440 square foot coffee kiosk and 5 parking spaces. Landscaping was included around the perimeter and parking area. The concurrency report shows minimal impact on city services with no significant increase in demand for traffic, utilities, schools, or parks expected. The city currently has 5,775 potable water connections with an average daily use of 1.362 million gallons per day, operating at 68% of capacity. Wastewater usage averages 1.769 million gallons per day, with 78.6% of capacity in use. For stormwater management, the city partners with Pinellas County as a co-applicant on permits to ensure proper drainage and protection of adjacent properties. All building permits are reviewed for compliance with city and South Florida Water Management District standards. The city of Oldsmar is served by PSTA Route 67, which covers the community redevelopment area in the industrial zone north of Tampa Road. Developments are required to include pedestrian walkways, connecting buildings to public sidewalks and bus stops. The North County Connector, Route 812, provides flexible transit service with links to major destinations and transfers to other PSTA in-heart routes, including service to Tampa. For the reporting period, only one deficient facility was identified with the city of Oldsmar, Forest Lakes Boulevard between Tampa Road and State Road 580. In 2016, the city of Oldsmar adopted the Pinellas County Mobility Management System to provide a more flexible alternative to traditional concurrency. Rather than relying solely on maintaining roadway level of service standards, this approach evaluates development impacts based on added vehicle trips to determine the need for transportation management plan. The city still uses LOS to identify deficient roadways, with arterial and collector roads required to operate at LOSD or better during peak hours, except minor arterials which may operate at LOSE. Facilities with LOSE, F, or a volume to capacity ratio of 0.9 are greater or considered deficient. The data used for analysis comes from the 2024 LOS report prepared by Ford Pinellas based on 2023 data. For freight movement, designated truck routes include the full lengths of SR 580, SR 584, Curlew Road, Commerce Boulevard, and Forest Lakes between SR 580 and Tampa Road. The city Oldsmar maintains over 200 acres of parkland, all linked by the 10-mile Oldsmar Trail system, providing safe and accessible outdoor spaces for residents and visitors. The Parks and Rec Department ensure regular maintenance and safety inspections of all facilities and playgrounds. While national level of service standards no longer applied, Oldsmar tailors its service levels to meet local needs. For fiscal year 2023 to 2024, the City Council budgeted improvements including HVAC upgrades at the State Street Center, replacement of outdoor fitness equipment, new fencing for pickleball courts, and various facility and equipment upgrades across the park system. During the reporting period, the city processed a range of planning cases, including 6 minor major site plan amendments, 6 variances, and 1 each of the following: zoning change, development, agreement, administrative replat, conditional use, site plan, and annexation. This activity reflects ongoing development and land use adjustments throughout the city. Staff recommends that City Council adopt the 2024 concurrency test statement in accordance with Section 11.2 of the Land Development Code, which outlines the requirements for the concurrency test statement and monitoring system. That concludes the 2024 concurrency test statement presentation. Please feel free to ask any questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, does the board have any questions for staff? Start with Stephen.
Actually, yeah, according to table 3, which defines all, it's on page 8 or page 16 of 26. So she just had that up a second ago there. There seems to be some items missing off of this. I don't know if that matters to anybody. There's the ice rink isn't on here, which is right over here beside Walmart, so it's missing. And it says that-
Private.
Oh, so that doesn't count because it's
Yeah,
private?
This is city stuff.
Ah, okay, well,
Right.
that makes a difference.
Allow
then.
me to interject, I apologize.
Yes, absolutely. And isn't there a spray park also behind the fire station over there
There
also? There's one listed here, and I know that's over at the rec center.
I don't know, is there? At Rogers Park?
I can double check with Parks and Rec on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have
Okay.
2 spray parks?
That's what I
Didn't know
thought.
that. Okay, well, we don't have a pier either.
Yeah, that kind of got broke up.
I'd have a question about that, but,
Well, there's 2 piers. There's a small one over on the canal also, over off the outflow.
So I consulted with Parks and Recreation for their facilities, so anything you bring to attention, I'll be glad to follow up with Parks and Rec on that.
Yeah, maybe we should like get some surveyors or something, somebody to just go around and do an actual count.
Understood, thank you.
That's all.
Stephen Sock, you have any questions? No questions. Mr. Harvey?
I made a note that the coffee shop, coffee kiosk, the submitted concurrency report reflects that there will be minimal impact on city services such as traffic, and then it goes on to others. I've made no secret about the fact that I was opposed to the car wash, as well as this kiosk. I complained when the car wash was going in, or was presented, about I thought there would be a problem with traffic. Now, there's not going to be a problem with traffic. So, since the car wash has been there, of course, I live there, and I go right by that car wash every time I leave well, not every time, because sometimes I go the other direction, but most of the time when I leave, I'm going toward Tampa. I come back, and I turn to the right off of Maple Leaf onto Pepper Tree, and there's cars backed up to Pepper Tree. And I can't go anywhere unless I go over in the left-hand lane or in the lane, the oncoming traffic lane. 4 times that's happened to me. Fortunately, only one was another car coming, because I can't see. I can't see until I pull out into that lane. Fortunately, there was no cars coming except for one time. And he wasn't going to stop. And he gave me the finger and made, go back, go back, go back. So, so I went back, So, I mean, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating because, I knew that was going to happen, and it is happening. But yet, everybody said there's not going to be a problem with traffic. Not only that, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen people that were leaving the car wash and they're coming out that same place and they don't stop. I guess they think that they're just, it's part of the parking lot or something, but they just don't stop. And fortunately, I haven't hit any of them and they haven't hit any of me, but, because I know it's happening, so I watch very carefully. So now we're gonna put a kiosk in there. First thing that's going to happen, in my opinion, is that, I can't draw it in the air, but you have Tampa Road. You pull off of Tampa Road onto Maple Leaf, and you immediately turn to the right to get into the coffee kiosk, right?
Correct.
And you go around, and you come back around and go out, right?
Right.
What do you think is going to happen at 6:30, 7:30 in the mornings when people are going toward Tampa and they decide they want to stop and get coffee? With that short distance around from on Maple Leaf into the coffee kiosk, this short distance is going to back up traffic, I believe, all the way on Tampa Road. I'm not a traffic expert. I know, Tatiana, I know you guys are the experts, not me. I realize that.
I'm not a traffic expert either, unfortunately. So Tatiana Childress, Planning and Redevelopment Director. So when that site was approved, we did request a traffic engineer to produce the traffic report, so we can provide this to you as part of this record. And there is a video also associated with that meeting, so it was a public meeting. Additionally, they have cross-access within the car wash. So if there are any issues with backing up on Tampa Road or anything like this, issues will be addressed by diverting the traffic and entering through maybe the car wash site and stacking on, there's like a little bit of a parking in the back, like a access drive, access between the Oak Leaf and the other street. So I don't have the plan here in front of me. So basically, it's a traffic management plan, so there is on file, and we typically have these issues during the pollen season, and they do have different peak hours. So as you mentioned, it's like early in the morning for the coffee shop, and then different hours and maybe weekend hours for the car wash. And that's been sort of addressed at the planning level. So if there are issues, we had complaints during this pollen season, so we had to address this with the car wash by working with them internally. And but that was during the construction of the Kava site, so some of those cross-access entrances were closed during the construction for the car wash, so they only had one in and one out.
Right.
But they do have the cross access easement between the two sites in that area. So hopefully there will be minimum impacts to the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, I couldn't understand from the beginning. I mean, there was supposed to be an ATM there. And then all of a sudden, the coffee shop being built there, and so
It's an approved allowable use.
Oh, I realize that.
so,
I realize it was an approved use. I'm not disputing that.
The footprint was no different than the ATM and the circulation and everything, so the use is different, so that's what triggered the traffic study, the additional engineering and all of the other, site review, all of the other requirements
Yeah.
for the
Well,
submittal.
but if the ATM had been stayed there, I don't think it would have generated anywhere near as much traffic as this coffee kiosk is going to. But I understand what
And
you're
that's
talking.
why we required the traffic study as part of the change in use from ATM to the coffee kiosk as part of that item. So it was presented to the council for approval.
Oh, I realize it. I'm not questioning anything official. I'm not questioning anything that you have done or that your staff has done or the traffic study. I'm not questioning or I'm just telling you that on boots on the ground, it's different than when you're reading the reports.
Certainly. And those reports, they've been reviewed by Daniel Simpson and other professional engineers that we have here for the city, so I'm not one of them. If you have any additional questions for them, you can always reach Daniel directly. So he has the report for Kava, and he has also some recent correspondence with the car wash site, so he can provide additional information on what's been implemented to maybe offset some of those potentially negative impacts, so.
Yeah, maybe even if, it may be where the people, where they come out, and I said, where they just don't stop. Maybe it's the car wash who put a stop sign up there or something up there to get their attention. You're not supposed to just pull right on out, something. Anyway, I just have to get it off my chest.
We understand, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Brenda, any questions for staff?
No, sir, but thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Roundout?
I will concur with what Bob was saying about the car wash. I live in the area also. I've seen what Bob has seen in regards to traffic. And kind of piggyback, I'm not going to rehash because he brings up very valid points. I'm not going to rehash that at all. What I will state though is I understand in regards to traffic and the report that was taken and what they see as the impact to that area, right? But also too, though, I think from the perspective of making sure that a driver's sight line is being adequately utilized also. And what I mean by that is there is landscaping that actually, technically it's blocking the driver's view coming out of the car wash. So that might want to kind of be noted when there's discussions with the car wash accordingly, that they might want to look in regards to that piece of it to kind of help with the sight view situation with the drivers coming out.
We'll double check the plan. As far as I know, we checked it for, they call it the clear sight triangle.
Yeah.
So it's just the little triangles on both sides as you enter into any site. So we always double check because the code requires us to double check for the clear sight triangle. And the trees, the type of trees that are there. So maybe they're just kind of like still trying to mature. So once they get a little bit taller, so then you'll just.
Right.
Won't
But
have
the
that.
ones, that's what I'm saying. I get it. Bob brings very good points up about
Right.
it. I understand. I mean, it's a, how can I say the best way to try to say it? To be determined regarding about, let's see when
Correct.
it opens.
Yes.
Let's see
Yes.
what it does bring, but he brings up a valid point, because if it does bring up on Tampa Road, I don't wish that upon an accident or anything, but it's opening the door wide open to happen.
I
And to
totally understand
the
that.
other
Will
part
be addressed. We're
with the
monitoring
traffic,
this.
with the travel, bring up one other point that Bob actually forgot on one point on the traffic. Also, too, when you turn in from Tampa Road onto Oakleaf, that's the only intersection right there that you can do a U-turn on Tampa Road.
Yep.
In that area, and that makes it, let's add one more thing that could possibly play into a traffic situation, is that, and that's what I'm saying, that's, with the study, has a lot of moving parts in that area right there, and that just adds to it, so,
I agree.
okay. That's all I have.
Any questions for staff?
No questions. Thank you.
My turn. So this place isn't open yet?
No.
Okay, so when the cars start lining up down Tampa Road and can't turn in and Bob can't get home, what do we do? What does Bob do? What does a citizen do? They call
So
Mr.
they
Simpson?
can reach out to Daniel Simpson, yes. So it will have to be addressed. The developer had the report. They assured us that the cars will not be backing up on Tampa Road, so it will be on the owner of the site to address the issue. So multiple items, code enforcement, so then law enforcement because it's a state road, we have the assurance from them and the engineering report presented to us by the traffic engineer with their PE stamp on it, saying that it will not cause under the conditions. So whatever they run, synchro, whatever program they run to simulate what kind of like peak hours and whatnot. Again, I'm not a traffic engineer, so, but we do have that report on file, so.
Yeah, it's an algorithm, so.
Yes, so Daniel, please contact Daniel Simpson if you do observe. He already has a file and we're already monitoring. From what I understand, from what I've heard regarding the car wash, again, during the busy, the pollen season, that's when we typically hear that there might be some.
So Daniel would be the one we'd contact?
Daniel would be the one where you would initiate the contact because it's related to the traffic issues and public works, technical services. They are the ones with the engineering background. So, and then they will coordinate either with Greg, who is the code enforcement for the city, or directly with the state, like the police.
Okay, yeah,
so.
I knew Daniel wanted Public Works, and I'm thinking, okay, Public Works or traffic? Okay, I got you, I understand now.
He's overseeing a lot of divisions and traffic being one of them, yes. So.
Okay, thank you.
So you're working with anecdotal evidence from a citizen, hoping they're gonna get involved and call Daniel. You're gonna deal with traffic accident reports when the crashes start happening, and there's no other method of communicating with Daniel of those two things, hoping somebody will be involved.
Yeah,
You can always submit the code enforcement online directly, so that's
I don't ever
available
go
to
over there,
anybody.
so, I mean, it would
Or
be-
call Greg, yes.
Yeah.
So, but I would start with Daniel because he already has the case initiated on this.
yeah,
so
I really
with-
do fear the backup on Tampa Road because there's no shoulder, there for cars to get off on. And that's, if there were a shoulder there, it might not be so bad, but there isn't, and
Put him on speed dial and hope you don't become classified as a nuisance.
I forgot.
I would like to add that I actually have seen the cars backing up there on Tampa Road, and this was right after the hurricane. Everybody was trying to get their vehicles cleaned up, and it was a mess. So that was just a couple of months ago. That was before pollen
Right,
season.
so everything was a mess after the
Yeah, everything
hurricane.
was a
So, yes, we have
Yes.
occasional things that are outside of our control, so yes.
All right, it's still my turn. Where is our pier? What's the status of our pier? Are we waiting for a grant or something?
That would be the question to Chief Potts, Director of the Parks and Recreation.
Is he here?
He is not here, unfortunately. What I've heard is the price that was budgeted for the pier may have to be adjusted, so they may have to go with a different contractor. So I don't know much outside of probably what I just said. So, and I'm not sure if that was even for this meeting. So sorry.
Well, it's in the concerns report that we have a pier.
It is, yes. So it is being, still, they're trying to figure out how to repair the pier. So, and hopefully it
how
will
long
be
can that
repaired
take?
soon.
I mean, we're losing our fireworks that we don't have anymore because there's no pier.
I can double check with Chip and provide the answer to you tomorrow.
I don't think it would be my place to call him as the chairman of the board.
Sure,
No,
so
so-
I will make a note. When I present this to the council, I will find out the status of that repair work order and see if they found another maybe, I believe he is actively looking for a new contractor, so, but I don't,
So is this an item that we want to have represented to us? Like what's going on with the pier as a planning board and have it like on an agenda item to ask whatever happened with Chip's response? Or how would that work?
it's in the works. I
Is-
don't, I'm sorry, if that's not the question for me.
Yeah, you too. I mean, any ideas on how we would get feedback? Our next meeting, you would like, oh, by the way, this is the deal with the pier? Or do I put it on
I'm sorry, this is completely in a different department, so we still have one pier. The pier just needs to be repaired, so we can just add a note to
Okay,
our
maybe we should put-
presentation. The pier, we're not getting rid of the pier, so the pier is currently,
instead of existing with 0.5, a half a pier? All right. Did I have any more questions?
Since we're hitting different things on here, Since we have identified Forest Lakes Boulevard as an issue, is there any plans to do anything about that?
Yes, so we have Jay Sanchez, who's also the PE within Public Works. He works under Daniel Simpson and Daniel Simpson. So this is also the technical services slash engineering item. Jay and Daniel, they're actively involved with Pinellas County. So this is a Pinellas County project. This is not, that section of the road is actually a county road. So they have different design stages for that project. So in different like typical sections and they have to follow a certain process. So it's still under the design or consideration. So I do believe they had a workshop on this and they will present finally. So I'm not sure if the workshop will be in Oldsmar. I can also double check to see when. The workshop, typically they advertise those on social media when they are seeking for public input. I'm not sure if that already actually passed because they've been working on that project for quite some time. So, but it's widening is gonna take place. I just don't know. I think they selected option 2, I believe. So there will be like 2 lanes in one and 2 lane in the other and 1 lane in the center.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
And we can add to our presentation for the council. I mean, this is good discussion, so we can add all of these items for the council so that when we present to the council, they actually have a better report so that we have all of those dates. Yes, thank you.
Design a State Street ditch reconstruction project under drainage for the fiscal year was budgeted. Is there a status report on that, an update that we could hear about, that we know anything?
I can provide the status update. Jay Sanchez, again, was leading that project. Not sure at this time.
Okay, I see some sticks out there, but the ditch is still a ditch. And I heard it was gonna happen at the end of this year, maybe the beginning of next year, and I'm just hoping it's still rolling, because that's a nasty ditch.
I do believe it's still rolling again for the project update. Typically, we have another, like a budget session that will probably take place in June. And those items are addressed by like the status of some of those CIP projects, the capital improvement projects. It will be addressed during that time. So you could watch that meeting or it's from a different division. Again, this is from Daniel's division. Typically, we have Daniel here. Unfortunately, we don't have him here tonight. So for council, we'll make sure that he's at the council meeting and he can address all of these good questions that were raised by the board.
Reclaim water. Now, our
Yes.
regular water meters have the cool things, the guy waves the wand over and we get an accurate reading from the meter. The old standard reclaim water meters don't, but they're putting that type of reclaim water meter in new passings. Is there a program to put that type of reclaim water meter in old passings? So we get an accurate reclaimed water reading, like we get a residential water reading, where the kids just wands it instead of trying to wipe the dirt off the glass and get an accurate reading.
Those are specific technical service questions.
Okay.
They're outside of the concurrency, like what's available today as far as the capacity. So for specific questions, that is within, again, Daniel Simpson's division, and he has the whole crew who deals with reclaimed water, and we can reach out to them to give you the answers for that. Unfortunately, this is outside of my scope. What I do, we just have the capacity for the city, so.
All right. Somebody stole my garbage bin, and I called up and asked for a second one. They said I could only have one per household. I went, what? What? So I asked for a big one, and then I stole someone else's. No, I didn't, but still, I found that interesting. You can only have one, because waste is on here. And I thought, well, why could you only have one?
They meant one at a time.
At a time. I mean, yard waste is a complicated issue,
It is.
You shouldn't bag it, and what do you do with it? You fill up your bin, and now you can't put your residential trash in.
Yep.
So,
It's kind of like your post, like mailbox almost.
kind of like what?
You can have other up to there certain criteria how much you can put on your curb, but
Right.
the actual city garbage can, that's what you're talking about, right? The
Right.
roll-off, yes.
Yeah, I read all that. I got on their site. I called them. I called the water department that handles it. And I was told, you get one bin. I'm like, well, let's, okay.
You can still get another bin from Lowe's.
Right,
That
right. You're
doesn't belong
allowed
to
to
the
have
city.
your, yes.
Yeah, they'll take that too.
Yeah, but that's hard on the guys.
It is.
Because they have a machine that uses hydraulics to lift
Yep.
the bins they give us.
Yep.
And they don't do like recycle the lift up. And I don't want to put that burden on those guys. They work hard enough. So, I want an extra bin that operates within their parameters. So, no fair for them. All right, we have no other questions. It's a public hearing. Anyone, thank you, Tatiana. Anyone in the audience wish to speak to the concurrency report? Seeing none, I close the public hearing. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the item? No one's out there. Opposed? Any written comments received? None received. And no closing statements from you guys out there in the audience? Thank you very much. I close the public hearing. I entertain a motion to send this to council with our blessing. Anybody want to make a first?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we recommend that the city council adopt the 2024 concurrency test statement in accordance with Land Development Code, Article 11, Section 11.2, concurrency test statement and monitoring system.
A second, please? Second. A roll call vote, please?
Board Member Stuck?
Yes.
Board Member Roundhouse?
Yes.
Board Member Kirby?
Yes.
Board Member Giannakos?
Yes.
Board Member Caldwell?
Yes.
Vice Chair Harvey?
Yes.
Chair Rainbior?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you very much. That's it. I entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone. It was a delight to see you all.
We missed you at the dinner.
Thank you.
Yeah.